Whenever the topic of AI in education comes up, our minds almost always jump to the students. Are they using it to cheat? Are they really learning? But that's only half the picture. Today, we're going to flip the script and look at what's happening on the other side of the teacher's desk. And to kick things off, let's start with a number that shows just how big of a deal this already is. So, what's 5.9? Well, according to a recent Gallup survey, this is the average number of hours teachers say they save every single week by using AI tools. I mean, think about that. That's almost a full workday back in their pockets. But as AI gets more and more integrated into the classroom, a new and kind of surprising dynamic is starting to pop up. And there it is. In a total reversal of the usual panic, it's now students who are starting to raise their eyebrows and ask questions. This quote comes from a brand new report by the AI company Anthropic. And honestly, it's the jumping off point for everything we're going to talk about today. To figure out what's really going on, Anthropic did something pretty cool. They analyzed about 74,000 conversations from university professionals using their AI, Claude. What this gives us is this incredible data-backed peek behind the curtain at how educators are actually using this tech when no one's watching. So what are they actually doing with it? Well, the answer that the data gives us is a lot more complex and, frankly, a lot more creative than you might expect. Right off the bat, one thing just completely dominates the chart. A whopping 57% of all use is for curriculum development. We're talking building syllabi, designing lessons, creating all the course materials. Sure, academic research and student assessment are in there, but it's crystal clear that crafting the learning experience itself is the #1 job for AI in the classroom. But it's not just about lesson plans. The uses are incredibly diverse. Educators are getting AI to spin up these complex mock legal cases for law students, build out entire vocational training programs, and even handle the day-to-day admin work, like drafting recommendation letters or putting together meeting agendas. Okay, but this might be the most inspiring thing from the entire report. Educators aren't just using AI like a search engine or a chatbot, they're actually building with it. They're becoming developers in their own right. This quote from a faculty member at Northeastern really says it all, doesn't it? AI is making it possible to create these super engaging custom learning tools that were just completely out of reach before because of time or technical skill. That wow at the end, yeah, that tells the whole story. And we're not talking about hypotheticals here. Professors are building everything from web-based escape rooms that teach course concepts to automated feedback systems, and even really specific tools like stoichiometry games for chemistry students. This is a huge shift, from AI as an assistant to AI as a true creative collaborator. Now, this whole idea of collaboration brings up a really crucial question. When do you partner with AI, and when do you just let it take the wheel? The report frames this as a really delicate balancing act. The report basically breaks it down into two main approaches. First, you have augmentation. Think of this as AI being your co-pilot, working alongside you to make your work better. Then, you have automation. This is where you delegate the task entirely to the AI and it just runs with it. So let's see how that actually plays out. And the data shows this incredibly clear pattern. For things that require a human touch, creativity, student interaction, like actual teaching or advising, educators overwhelmingly choose augmentation. They want to stay firmly in the driver's seat. But look what happens as you go down the list to more routine admin work, like managing finances. The whole thing flips and automation becomes the favorite. This quote from a professor really feels like the unofficial mantra for this whole approach. It's about making human thinking better, not replacing it altogether. But, as you can probably guess, there is one area where this philosophy gets very, very complicated. Let's talk about grading. This is really the heart of the tension that the research uncovered. It's a full-on clash between the promise of saving time and some really deep-seated ethical concerns. Nearly half. That's the percentage of AI conversations about grading that were automation heavy. So even though grading was a pretty small part of how AI was used overall, when teachers did use it for grading, the impulse was often to just hand the entire task over to the machine. And this is where the debate gets really heated. You can see the disconnect pretty clearly here. On the one hand, the appeal of automation is obvious, right? It saves a massive amount of time, it can help make feedback more consistent. But on the other hand, faculty are raising some serious red flags about the ethics, the accuracy, and whether it just completely devalues one of their most important jobs. This quote just cuts right to the heart of it. And LLM there, that just means the AI, the large language model. What this professor is saying is that giving feedback isn't just a task to check off a list, it's a moral obligation that's fundamental to the whole student-teacher relationship. So all of this, the building, the partnering, the controversies, it's forcing a massive rethink of what it even means to teach and to learn in the first place. I mean, how do you design an assignment when a perfect answer is always just a click away? This is the big challenge that educators are wrestling with right now. If a machine can create the final product, what is the assignment actually teaching? It's forcing a huge shift away from focusing on the product of learning to focusing on the process of thinking. And we're already seeing this happen in real time. In coding classes, it's becoming less about finding a missing semicolon and more about high-level analytical problem solving. There's a whole new focus on teaching students how to be critical editors of AI-generated work. And yeah, a lot of professors are just ditching old formats like the classic research paper altogether. This little anecdote is just perfect. It completely captures the new goal. When a student complains that the AI can't do their homework for them, the professor sees that as a win. It means the assignment is actually working. It's demanding real human thinking. So when you step back and look at the big picture, you see this amazing thing happening. Educators are diving in, embracing AI as this powerful, creative partner to build things they couldn't before. But at the exact same time, they're carefully navigating this very fine line between using a powerful tool and upholding their ethical responsibilities. And ultimately, it all seems to come back to that one guiding principle we heard earlier. The philosophy that's emerging isn't about replacing human thought. It's about elevating it. And that leads us to one final, really important question. As AI takes over more of the admin work and even some of the creative heavy lifting, what is the core, irreplaceable skill that only a human teacher can bring to the classroom? That's the question that's going to define the next chapter of education.